Welcome everyone to the next episode in our Night Springs series. If you are new, I recommend pausing and watching the introduction video, which breaks down the nature of the TV show before proceeding further. This video will be a little different, as we will be discussing the new details we learned in Alan Wake 2 of how Night Springs functions. With that out of the way, let's go. Today begins the second phase of our Night Springs series. All prior videos were based upon episodes in the original Alan Wake. All information about how this town functions was based upon this and the manuscripts in American Nightmare. However, now we have more information. We can better clarify the functionality of the fictional town. Alan Wake 2 and its Night Springs DLC did a great job at this. Rather than immediately tackling the next episode, let's spend some time recapping what we learned. Specifically, the nature of overlaps. In return, Alan describes overlaps like this.
The reality-changing influence of the dark place flowed like water flowed, like fear flowed, down the path of least resistance, eroding the weak spots until they cracked. In places where reality was more yielding, where story told and retold, imagination sparked and fear ignited again and again, had softened the walls of reality. Sites of violence and tragedy, where truth was laced with fiction, where a work of art proposed an alternative narrative, something people could suspect to be true, something people felt strongly about, something they feared. An overlap of the dark place needed a push from both directions to manifest itself. Reality in our world eroded by repeated dark lore tied to a location, and a counterpoint. A work of art, a horror narrative crafted in the depths of the dark place, connecting to the story on the other side to reach out through the weakened veil.
In essence, when a piece of fiction echoes with reality, a weak point forms. These are called overlaps, the center point of a Venn diagram between real events and a story. Throughout American Nightmare, Alan makes it clear that the town of Night Springs is a fictional town that can move. It is the setting whenever there is a weird story, not a single place. It can be a cabin in the woods or a sprawling city. Alan describes himself placing the town in the Arizona desert for the night, implying that the town can intrude upon reality. This description of overlaps informs us how this works. He writes the episode of Night Springs with the intention of overlapping with real events. His ability to see echoes of the real world is convenient. He can look out of the dark place and see real people, learn about them so he can properly incorporate them into the plot. We see him do this repeatedly throughout the narrative. After taking notes, he gets to work in his writer's room, writing a story which adapts what he just observed. In doing so, he creates an overlap, using the story to punch through, creating a weak spot in reality. The reasons behind each narrative will be explored further in subsequent videos in this playlist. It is important to note that these overlaps do not exist in either reality. After Saga leaves one, evidence of her passing vanishes. There are no bullet casings of her fight with Nightingale left on the beach. His body is missing. Once Alan leaves one, the same is true. Overlaps act as a pocket reality that exists between the dark place and the real world, kind of a hypnagogic state, so to speak. For those unaware, the hypnagogic or hypnopompic state is a tier of consciousness that exists between sleeping and waking. When transitioning between being awake and being asleep, it is called hypnagogic. When transitioning between sleep and waking, it is called hypnopompic. These are defined as a threshold consciousness between the two states, very much like how overlaps are the threshold reality between the dark place and the real world. Within the hypnagogic state of consciousness, many weird things can occur. This includes hallucinations, sleep paralysis, and lucid dreaming. This is the realm of sleep paralysis demons that some people report seeing, where your dreams bleed over into your perception of your bedroom like an ARG, altered reality game. For this information, it appears as though when Night Springs manifests, it exists within these overlaps, the narratives echoing real events that may have occurred in the same place. But as soon as the story is done, the overlap recedes like a tide sinking back into the ocean. The dream returning to where it came from, and reality left normal again without its influence. But during its manifestation, weird things happen. The people who experience it can sometimes be influenced by the story, or they are pulled into the overlap to experience it as a character in Night Springs. Either way, the specifics of how the town functions seems to be better defined now. With all that said, it is time to begin the next season of Night Springs, one that begins in the aforementioned Arizona desert, in the Cardinal Motel. See you then.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please drop a like and subscribe to receive updates on future uploads. If you would like to help support the channel, a Patreon has been set up and the link is in the description below. Have a great day and peace be with you all.